Hello, church. Like you said, hello. My name is Nick. Your esteemed music director and organist is my mother-in-law. Natalie is my wife, and that very rambunctious child is mine. That's Benny. God love him. I was married in this church about 9 years ago. Holly actually did the flowers. And like I said, I think most of you know my wife has grown up in this church. So I know some of you. I know some of you well. I'm aware of many of you. But Pastor and I were talking, and I don't think you folks, a lot of you know my story and where I come from. So I'm going to tell you. I was born and raised in a Pentecostal church in the panhandle of Florida. It was an Assembly of God church. I was raised in that church to proselytize and to go out and teach the gospel to the world from age 5 or so until I was probably 16 or 18, standing at street corners in front of abortion clinics, the whole 9 yards, and the main purpose was to win souls for Christ. Right? It was a church of action. They did a lot in the community, and the premise was we go out into the community and we do things in order to win souls for Christ. Not that I have a problem with that, but as I got older, I personally kind of strayed away from that idea. To me, there were things that I wanted to do for people because they were the right thing to do. Because people were hungry, people needed a place to stay, people needed a warm bed. I kind of drifted from the church for many years. I went to Los Angeles, and Natalie came with me. We got married here in the church, but we were living in LA. The idea of coming back and doing things for other people just because they are the right thing to do was very far from my mind. If you know anything about the film business, it's kind of like, I do what's good for me, and there was a lot of that. The pandemic happened. It was a very sad time across the entire world. And my wife turned to me and said, "This is lame, let's get out of here," and go back to Chicago, to the hometown that she grew up in, and to the church in which she was raised. And I was like, church? All right. Well, I go back into a household where your organist is there playing church music all the time, and piano music all the time, and I'm like, these are the hymns that I grew up with that I haven't heard in 20 or 30 years. This is kind of cool. So the Christmas happened, right? Yeah, we were doing some videos for Christmas, and I was trying to help out because there wasn't a lot going on. Something about this church drew me back into it. And it was something about my church growing up that this church does quite well. The one thing I love about all of you is that you are doers. I'm getting chill bumps right now, I'm trying to cry. The fact that you make blankets out of shopping bags for homeless people blows my mind. I'm like, how did you do that? Where did that come from? At one point it was trash, and now somebody is sleeping on it. That's amazing to me. The food pantry, whenever I'm up here on Saturdays, there's so many people getting food, and it's kinetic. There's this thing about this church where you're like, yeah, sure, it is very important to win souls for Christ, and I agree with that. But there's something about this church that says we're going to do these things because they're the right thing to do. If you are a Buddhist and you want to stay a Buddhist, that's fine, or whatever, but we're doing these things because it's the right thing to do. And I want all of you to know that for years I had strayed, and thanks to many long talks with your pastor and Chris Dawson, who I've come to know pretty well, I want you to know that I feel like this is a family to me and to my family. And it's a place where I think I would be able also to do something just because it's the right thing to do. So I want to tell all of you, thank you very much for that. Thank you for not judging and just having open arms. If there are people out there, if you're looking for a place to come and you're my age and you don't think there's a place that you could go into a church and feel like it was a cool place to go, this is the church to do it at. So I encourage anyone watching, if you're looking for a place to come here. So thank you, everyone. Appreciate it.
unique, sharing your honest and life-based story with us. It is our blessing.